I think we're good. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are welcome to the Q, the Customer Experience Conversations, where we talk about issues, matters that concern the customers, the businesses they engage with, the business operators within. You are welcome to the Q. We hold this every Thursday right here on this platform. You are welcome. You're welcome to the Q. You're very welcome. The Customer Experience Conversations, where we talk about issues that concern the customers, the businesses they engage, the business operators within those businesses, and we try to see how we can bridge the gap by having these conversations, these objective conversations, because it's not a platform where we're just going to be talking about one side of the conversation. We're going to be looking at the conversation from both sides of the aisle to ensure that we have a balanced conversation where everyone involved, all the stakeholders involved in the customer experience conversation, they are heard, and everyone's side of the conversation is brought to the table, and then we can make tangible progress with it. So yes, you are welcome to the Q. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anywhere you're connecting with us from, anywhere around the world, you are welcome to the Q once again. So sorry, we're starting a bit behind schedule. We had a bit of internet issues, but that's been resolved now. Very quickly, we'll dive into today's conversation. It's going to be a short conversation, but we'll have the conversation nonetheless. Today, we're talking about the explorer's choice, and that is curiosity. I'm sure you're wondering, what does curiosity have to do with customer experience? All right. So today, we're looking at curiosity, and it's not just going to be from the perspective of the customer experience, but also looking at it in terms of how it affects businesses as a whole. And I have a very quick example that I'm going to share with us in a few minutes. So yes, like I said, curiosity. We're going to be looking at curiosity from both sides of the aisle, from the position of the customer and from the position of the business and the business operators as well. How does curiosity come into play? Last week we talked about finding the gap. And in finding the gap, we have also come to see that curiosity is somewhere in between that gap that we need to discover, that we need to see how we can make the most of. So yes, what role does curiosity play in the customer experience conversation, and what role does it play when we're talking about businesses, customers, and how they are engaged and engaged profitably? So very quickly, I'll start with the case study, the example that I said I was going to share. So a few hours, I think like 4 hours now. Yes, 4 hours now. I wanted to get my hair cut. And a couple of weeks ago, I decided I wanted to change my barber, okay? Quite a distance from where I live now. And I noticed there was one very close to where I live. And I tried to go there today, actually went there, got to the front of the store and found out that the place was locked. And then I saw a sign that said, oh, you have to book an appointment. You have to book the appointment online. So the place was closed, saying that it was more of a personalized experience and all of that. So we said, okay, no problem. I went to the website to see if I could get an appointment for today because I really wanted to have a haircut today. And I saw the place where it said, okay, booking for today, and then there was a phone number. I clicked on that. I dialed the number like 2 times, no answer. Up until now, no one has called me back from that number. So I said, okay, no problem. I went on the website, tried to surf it further. They said there's a place to check their services. I think let me pull it up to see if I still have it on here. So yes, I went to the website and tried to see if I could get a booking for maybe tomorrow. And what I noticed was it said the name of the brand, which I won't say, currently unavailable. So for me, this is quite puzzling because here you have a business. Either way you want to shake it, either way you want to look at it, it's a barbering salon, okay? People have been cutting hair for centuries. And what I know to be the model for barbering salons is it's a walk-in business. You walk in there when it's time for business hours, you walk in there, get your hair cut, have good conversation, and then you leave. But somehow we have this business that they're trying to be innovative, if that's what we want to call it now. They want to be innovative, they want to be in tune with the times, with technology, and then we're saying, okay, they're saying that this is what we want to do. It's not a walk-in business, it's not a walk-in barbing salon like we have in the other places around the world. To engage us for a personalized service, you have to go to our website, get an appointment, and that's the only way you're going to get your haircut. So this is where I have an issue with them. I talked about this particular subject here on the Q a couple of weeks ago. Now, your entire business model is centered around communication, either we like it or not. It's centered around communication via your website and also via a phone number on the website. Now, the website is down, the phone number is not being answered. So the question is, do you really have a business? As far as I'm concerned, that business does not exist and it no longer exists to me. So you're wondering, what does that have to do with what we're talking about today, curiosity? From the standpoint of the customer, I'll start from there. Of course, I was curious when I noticed their signboard. I mean, very well done. The branding, very on point. If you know me very well, you know that branding is one of my core passions. Branding, very well done. And I said, okay, you know what? I think this would be a good place to have my haircut. Got there, saw that the place was locked. Not even somebody in there that could say, okay, excuse me, this is how we run our business. This is what we do. Would you like to book an appointment in real time without having to go through the website? I would help you book the appointment on the website or via whatever link that we have in our business. There was nobody on ground to help do that. All I saw was a sign at their door saying that the only way you can get your haircut is through an appointment, and you have to book the appointment through the website. So I was curious to see what kind of business this was. I was curious to see if they were going to cut my hair well. Unfortunately, that curiosity has been dampened. So for me, I'm wondering, for a business that has been able to pique the curiosity of a customer, how have they been able to handle that curiosity? How have they been able to convert that curiosity that they've been able to pique for their potential customers? How have they been able to convert it into actual business? Because like this example that I'm stating now, they have not been able to do that in any way whatsoever. I mean, this is 4 hours after. The business number or the business line that I called is yet to call me back. It's a mobile number. It's not a landline. So there's no excuse to say that maybe we didn't see your missed call or we couldn't call back. That's not the case. It's a mobile number. So how do you handle curiosity? And as a customer, when a brand has been able to do a few things to pique your curiosity, how have you been able to engage that brand? Yes, if you're joining us again, you're welcome to the Q, the Customer Experience Conversations, where we talk about issues, matters that concern the customer and businesses, as well as the business operators that are within those businesses, to see how we can have more robust conversation when we're talking about the customer experience. And of course, if you're just joining the Q for the first time, it's supposed to be a dialogue, not a monologue. So look at the bottom of your screen, look at the buttons there, and see how you can be part of the conversation. Just click on the button there that says request to join, and then we'll say it over at this end and we'll connect you to join, and then you can be part of the conversation. So today, like I said before, we are talking about curiosity. Where is the place of curiosity within the conversation of customer experience? Where is the place of curiosity? And I was just giving a case study and an example of a business that I tried to engage today, and unfortunately, the transaction wasn't successful. It didn't even go through in the first place after my curiosity had been piqued, but somehow they couldn't convert that particular curiosity into actual business. So for me, that is quite troublesome. And the question is, I'm just one individual. How many people have been able to engage this organization, this business, out of curiosity? How many have been able to engage them out of curiosity and they've not been able to convert that curiosity into actual business. How many? We don't know. But at least we know of one person. And of course, I'm going to be sharing my experience with other people offline, and then they're likely not going to engage that brand. And then businesses wonder why they have challenges with making money, why they have challenges staying in business. It's the little things. It's the little things. You could have had a simple model that has worked for centuries. Walk-in barbering salon, everybody goes in there, have your hair cut, good conversation, and then you leave. And even if you wanted to be innovative about it, it's at the very least, the communication channels, which is a particular subject we talked about here on the Q. Your communication channels are platforms that you do not take lightly, especially for a business that your entire model is built around your communication channels. So for me, I find it quite ridiculous that you have a business built around communication channels, and then you are not able to you're not able to communicate with them effectively. Like I said, it's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. Look at the bottom buttons of your screen and see how you can request to be part of the conversation. Maybe you can share with us one or two examples of a brand or two that have been able to pique your curiosity with regards to how they've gone about doing things. Maybe by their branding, maybe by testimonials from other customers that have engaged that brand. So you can be part of the conversation. Look at the bottom buttons of your screen and see how you can be part of the conversation. If you're just joining us, you are welcome to the Q, the Customer Experience Conversations, where we talk about conversations, issues, matters that concern the customer, the businesses they engage, the business operators within those businesses that they engage. So yes, you are welcome. You are welcome. So today we're talking about curiosity and the place curiosity holds in the customer experience conversation. As a brand, can you say that you have been able to adequately build up curiosity in the minds of customers or potential customers? And how have you been able to do that? Is it with your branding? Is it with fantastic customer experience, where you have other customers that have engaged your brand and they've had positive, impeccable customer experiences, go ahead to share their experiences with other customers? Is that the case? And if that's the case, how have you been able to adequately convert that curiosity into actual transactions, into actual business that you're profiting from? Because for us, it is very important that we have these conversations and then we understand that curiosity in itself is a tool. And it is a tool that can be used effectively to drive your business. It is a tool that can be used effectively to move your business to the next level. Because either way you like it or not, every single person that engages your brand on whatever level, whatever platform, either it is offline, either it is online, they have some level of curiosity. Some people, they could just be curious to see how you engage them. Some people could be curious to see what kind of products you have, what kind of services you offer. You can run a restaurant business. You have people who are curious to see if your food is worth the hype. The people who see a lot of businesses on social media and are just curious to see, they have very good branding, they have very good posts on their social media pages. Engaging them, will they live up to the same level of excellence? Curiosity is the tool in business. So as a business operator, have you been able to adequately pique the interest of potential customers or your existing customers with curiosity? Have been able to do that? We would like to have a dialogue tonight, not a monologue, a dialogue tonight. So please look at the buttons at the bottom of your screen and see how you can be part of the conversation. On the Q, today we're talking about curiosity, and we're looking at it from both sides of the aisle, from the perspective of the customer, as well as the perspective of the business and the business operators as well. So yes, curiosity also from the side of the customer. You have customers who engage your brand out of curiosity, and they're wondering, what is this brand all about? How good are their services? How good are their products? I've heard so much about them, or I'm just hearing of them for the first time. So yes, as a customer, curiosity also has a role to play. It has a role to play. But I believe that in terms of curiosity, when we're talking about curiosity, especially with businesses, a lot of businesses do not see it as a tool. In fact, a lot of businesses don't even identify it as a tool because they need to understand that curiosity in itself is what will drive, it's part of the factors that will drive people to engage in your brand. It's what will drive people to engage your brand. So yes, curiosity, if it means that you need to include it in your customer journey map, and that's something we've talked about here on the Q, the customer experience conversations, the customer journey map. And for those who don't know what that is, or maybe weren't part of that particular broadcast, the customer journey map is very simple. It's a visual representation of how a customer will engage your business from the very point A to the end of that particular transaction, interaction, even if a transaction doesn't even go through. It is a visual representation where you can put pen to paper to say that, you know what, when a customer engages us, either they're a walk-in customer or they engage us via our communication channels, either email, website, social media handles, once they engage us, this is the next thing we will do. After we do what we have to do, this is the next thing the customer will do. You should be able to forecast what your customers will be able to do when they engage your brand. So that is what the customer journey map is about. And it is very integral that when we're designing the customer journey map, we are able to add the factor of curiosity in it. You must be able to understand that curiosity has a strong role to play. So designing your customer journey map, the visual representation of how your customers engage your brand, either for the first time. We have a caller. Good evening. It's evening where you are. Good evening. Thank you for being part of the Q. Good evening. So today we're talking about curiosity. And I don't know, can you share with us maybe one experience that you've had with a particular brand with regards to curiosity? Maybe it was their branding. Yes. Why did you engage that brand? Out of curiosity, could you share with us your experience with that particular brand?
Yes, that's fine. But first of all, thank you for what you're doing. You're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
Two stories really. The first one has to do with an outlet that I happened to pass by on my way out. It's very well labeled. It's a 1,000 naira shop.
Okay.
That basically answers any question you could possibly want to have.
Yeah.
That piqued my curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you go into a shop, you don't need to check the price tag. You know everything that is in that shop or that outlet costs 1,000 naira.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk in there with a budget, you know what you're going to be spending by the time you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I decided to just hop in and just see what was going on. That was the curiosity. Mm. But unfortunately, when I got in, I could barely find maybe 3 items that actually cost 1,000 naira. I saw things that cost 4,000. I saw things that cost 2,500. I saw things that cost 1,800. And I left there disappointed because what attracted me to the place was the name and what it promised, which was you come in and everything you see is going to be 1,000 naira. So that kind of flopped for me. And the funny story is the shop now, the outlet now is no longer operational. Barely a year after, I had that experience, and it was when it newly opened that I actually went in. So that's one. The second one is, in a way, something done right. I have a neighbor who uses a barber. I'm going to the barber side because your conversation today brought that up.
Yeah.
This guy is his form of branding is so well done that first of all he does home services. He doesn't have an outlet. So that was why I thought your story was going to eventually lead to when you started it.
Oh.
He only does, outlets, and every time I see him, his hair is a different color. His hair is a different style, a different pattern. One day he has hearts, next day he has a cross. And you can tell that this is somebody who knows what he is doing. Recently, I took his number because I needed him to help me get a clipper for my son. And what I see on his WhatsApp status, he is now practically branded himself as a celebrity barber. Because every time I see him on WhatsApp, he's, pictures and videos of people that he's cutting their hair, skit makers, all these, guys. So I feel he was able to do that right. You see him, you're curious. Who is this guy with his funny hair every time I see him? Today, hair is tomorrow it's green. And then you talk to him and he tells you, oh, I'm a barber. I do home services. And then you're like, okay, this is my address. How much do you charge? He comes around, you get the haircut, you are happy. Although he has been able to kind of carve a niche for himself, he's able to very quickly and easily take, good care of people who are more hip. People who are more in the entertainment industry, who needs to have very flamboyant and creative hairstyles. And he's captured that. So I feel he has done that, quite well. Those are my two, stories and experiences for today.
Fantastic. And thank you for sharing those two experiences. And you had one negative and you had one positive. And I would like to draw, before I let you go, I'd like to allude to a particular point you made, which I was going to talk about later. The first experience you talked about, what the main issue was because there was a promise.
Yes.
There was a promise.
Yes.
Now, every form of curiosity is driven by a promise.
Yeah.
A promise that you are going to get something, or a promise you are going to experience something, or a promise that you're going to get something at a particular price, in your own case.
Yeah.
But somehow that promise was broken.
Seriously.
And then you were left disappointed. I know
that was.
Yeah, and interestingly, there are a few accounts on Instagram right now. One I know, it says a 5K something, maybe 5K watch, a 5K store. And then I came about maybe two of their posts within the last week. And I saw a particular item going for 11,000 naira.
Aha.
I said, okay, so your entire branding is around having prices not go beyond 5K. But now you have a particular item, which to be fair, we do understand that prices of items change and all of that, which are things that they ought to have considered, because I mean, abroad you have dollar stores and there are ways to go about navigating those things. Okay, maybe you have a particular spread, but we're not going to be talking about that today. But having your own page, your entire branding around being a 5K store, and then a particular item going for 2.5x of that particular amount that you're talking about, it is a bit off-putting. It is a bit off-putting. And I can guess that they would have lost a couple of followers because of this particular reason. Because, I mean, you see brands that say, well, 3K stores, 1K stores, 5K stores, and then you say, okay, you know what, this is a brand I want to follow. When I do have the money, maybe I want to get accessories or one or two things, then I can engage them. So yes, every form of curiosity is powered by a promise. And when that promise is broken, then customers have challenges with businesses. So thank you so very much for sharing that. For sharing those two examples. Very, very concise. And with the barber as well, which, I mean, yes, it does make sense that he is a barber. And every other week you see him has his hairstyle, and then you're wondering, Mr. Man, what's going on with your hair? And then he says, okay, this is what I do for a living.
Yes.
It's just like seeing somebody that sells maybe bespoke suits, and every other time he's looking very sharp, looking very neat, and then you have to ask him, okay, what's going on here? So yes, it does make sense. And in terms of, from a branding perspective, he's been able to get it right, aside from carving a niche for himself. So thank you so very much for your contribution to the show tonight. We do appreciate you, and we hope that you do enjoy the next couple of minutes that we have on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. Keep doing what you're doing, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, like we said, every form of curiosity is powered by a promise to get a particular experience, a promise to get a particular item at a particular price, a promise to have something. And once that promise is broken, then you have a service failure. In some cases, the transaction doesn't even go as far as the engagement now, doesn't even go as far as saying you want to have a service failure because, I mean, you already lost the customer. But yes, thank you so very much for those two wonderful examples, one positive and one negative. So yes, we're still talking about curiosity, and we're going to be winding down in a couple of minutes, but talking about curiosity, it is important that as business owners, business operators, no matter the role we find ourselves in businesses or in any organization, that we understand that curiosity has a role to play in the customer experience. Not just customer experience, curiosity has a role to play in how and when customers engage our brand. Because in the end, that is what is behind a lot of engagements with brands. People wondering, okay, I hear about this bank a lot. I see that they have branches all over. How about I just walk in there and ask a couple of questions? You're curious to see if they live up to the hype that they have, either by their branding or by whatever testimonials you've gotten from other individuals that have done business with them. So yes, curiosity. I know there's a saying that says that curiosity killed the cat, but you're not a cat, you're not a kitten, okay? So curiosity has a role to play in business and in the customer experience. And on that note, on that light note, that's where we'll be calling it a wraps for tonight, today, this afternoon, this morning, because we have different folks connecting from different parts of the world. In some places it's morning, it's afternoon, it's evening. It's evening right here in Lagos, Nigeria at this time. And yes, thank you so very much for being part of the Q tonight's the Customer Experience Conversations. Like we say on the final note, it is important that we know that even as customers, when we engage businesses, that we keep our expectations reasonable, and we must make sure we get value for money. Because in the end, whatever it is that we're engaging businesses for, like we have said, it is powered by a promise. It is powered by a promise. Now, it is also left for organizations to see how they can meet those promises and not fail on them. Don't renege on those promises. Don't fail on those promises that you have made to those customers when they do engage your brand. So yes, it is important that from both sides of the aisle, we see how we can have expectations, and from the sides of the businesses, we must see how we can meet those expectations, because that is how we can find the gap, and that is how we can bridge the gap with regards to the customer experience conversations. So yes, thank you again for connecting with us. If you'd like to see what we have talked about today or previous episodes, you can go on our YouTube channel, the Q Podcasts, the CUE Podcasts. I'll take that again. On our YouTube channel, the Q Podcasts, the CUE Podcasts. You can see our previous episodes, including tonight's episode, in 24 hours. You can also connect with us on our podcast channels on Podbean and Apple Podcasts. Same name, same handle, the Q Podcasts. As well as you can follow this handle, my personal handle, at Dikmo Oyewole on Instagram, on Twitter, and other platforms, where every other day we still share a few tips on the customer experience, what you need to know, what you need to do, so you do not have service failures, so that you can find the gap, so that you can translate and communicate that curiosity effectively and convert it into actual successful transactions with your customers while engaging them. So yes, thank you again for being part of the Q today. We do hope that you will join us same time next week, right here on this channel, on this platform. Till then, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.